Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect, back with you once again. And man, oh man, let us get into Survivor Series. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Survivor Series. I got to say this: the women's War Games match I liked, and I think there was some good stuff. Let's see, I think Asuka, it was good. It was good. It's been on the tear this year, and I like the fact that and Rhea Ripley have made this. I mean, they have a concentrated effort to build the women's division. But the problem is, and I can say I wouldn't say this to AEW because there's a lot more, singles. It hurts the women's stuff there too. But we'll get to that later. The women's if I think it was good PG stuff there. You have Becky Lynch trying to look cool there. Um, the T stuff. But it's interesting. Becky has done the yeoman's work for bringing up the mid card. She did it with Leia Valkyria. She did it with Maxine, AJ, and you see right here, she's doing it with Charlotte. She has this way of bringing everyone up. This Herculean task of building everyone up around her. And I think that's one of the most important things about this whole thing, about Becky Lynch's character. You can say that. Alexa Bliss, this, by the way, the one thing I never liked is that the baby faces, I think the baby faces had the right way, and it doesn't really work because you have the heels had this should always dominate in war games, and that's the problem when you look at war games in any other that's why it didn't work in 2022. I think was when the bloodline was like the babyface, the crowd did not care. I remember that crowd did not care about that match until the end and everything else. And I think that's one of the problems you have. And AW did it great because they injured them, and then next they had that whole, we still have now the main event with the Death Riders and the conglomeration, and it was really good idea. And yeah, Sky, she's doing. I think Sky is doing stuff there, and you see this Charlotte, this and this one, tag team to do a triple tag team, some fun, some good stuff. You got AJ Lee showing up. I think where's this? Where's the one here? They climbing in. There was an AJ Lee and Asuka stare down, and I don't think it's not here. By the way, advertisement. It's a shame, but yeah, there was a stare down between AJ Lee and Asuka. They both know there's something there, and I wish there was something in that position. A few there, but I think AJ, I think she just beats Becky, and she's there for a couple years. So I think AJ and Asuka, you can put that as a WrestleMania match, sure, put that as a Mania match. But I think do I trust WE to do it well? I don't know, but I think it'll be something interesting. Let's see, let's continue on. Nia Jax, she did her stuff. Luckily, she didn't have a chair that she just lightly that did the Hogan chair stuff, which is just lightly like dip, dip. But yeah, it was a PG street fight in War Games, which okay, fine, but it just feels not much. And then you have Rhea Ripley, her whole stuff there, the Terrifier thing, and she looks absolutely terrified. But also, she's the biggest star in the match, and it just Rhea Ripley, and that's what and such, and doing the trash can spots, just really good stuff here. And yeah, I think Lash Legend came out, and the crowd did not. I hate the fact they put her. Lash Legend should not be. Nia Jax should be the last woman out of the whole thing. Lash Legend should honestly be the first or the second person or third. Do not put her in that position because she doesn't have the recognition. She doesn't have that. It was like, who is she? That's the problem, and I hate that because she did recently, but man, they did not help her. And I always believe you have to help your talent, not hurt your talent. And then when the match beyond happens, it just only lasted 8 minutes. and you just like some big stuff and Alexa Bliss and stuff, and then your EO Sky come in, do a whole swan while everybody's standing in the position. Everyone stay in the position. I know it's EO Sky. They do that. I'm like, it's a brand now. You have to do it. EO has to do the spot. It's there for the marketing. It's not organic anymore. They just took the organicness and drained it of every single thing worthy of it. And now here we are. You know, it is the monkey's paw's wish of, just like, oh, you know, this type of stuff here. It is the monkey's paw's wish of doing this type of thing, you know? It is the monkey's paw's wish that, like, oh man, I hate this Five Eye Survivor Series stuff. I hate it. It's the dumbest thing out here. And then here we are, right there is just this. It's just like it gets it curls in and curls, and then next thing you know, and then we have this. It's just like it is a corporatized, bland, terrible thing, and I hate that because the ladies deserve better. I think Io Sky, she did some good war games in NXT, some decent war games in NXT. And I think that's one thing I think the problem is when you do war games and there's not it just feels like it was just a here we are, there's no story behind it. Here we are, there's no story behind it. And that's the real issue with these war games. And most of them were like, there's nothing here. In fact, I'll say this: the whole MFTs versus so those random guys with Sami Zayn and all that type of stuff. I felt that had more of a story than the women's matches or the men's. It felt that's there's nothing here, you know, and that's my worst gripe about it. There's no connection, no story. Just like here you go, toys on the thing with nothing here. Just here's the spot. There we are. That's what it is, and it frustrates me because I know they can do better, and they should do better and they don't. They just don't, and I hate that. I absolutely hate that how this company just continues to live on mediocrity, and the people seem to okay with it. Mediocrity is fine. Mediocrity is okay for most people. We should divert they better. By the way, they win and it was top up by AJ Lee. I think Saturday main event they'll do it, and I'll have AJ take on Asuka. I think that would be a good match. They have to drop the tag belts, but sure, I don't care. I think Asuka versus AJ Lee at WrestleMania is a good match there. You could do something. It's a first time ever match. You built that up for WrestleMania, and it's a non-title match. You can have a good Legends match there. Why not? You have 2 nights anyway. With something interesting. But hey, well, the women's match. But now we get to the next match. Um, the next match. Oh man, Dom. Yeah, that's how I felt about this match. I guess same shit this day. I know. It just feels this match. Oh, this was a. And by the way, there's 4 matches here. 4 matches, and it felt long and boring. I watched this on, like I said, I have a old VPN and Netflix and all that and you add that all up. And let me tell you, commercials, and so much commercials. Heck, when I went to WrestleMania, 38? And it was a fun time. Great time. Met some good people, met some cool people, watched some good shows. I think I watched Bandito live for the first time in multiple times. Just awesome stuff, man. Great times, great memories, all the good stuff there. Really fun times. But man, there were commercials. I saw commercials. I saw promos like for people who weren't there. People who were going to be there like the other night, but not the same night. I was like, what are you doing? And then there was no matches at WrestleMania, no dark matches, no anything. That to me frustrates me. that is frustrating to me. And if I go up to another event, that would be even worse for this. You got 4 hours, like 4 matches in like 3 hours. And I'm like, geez, it is no. And by the way, Blood and Guts, which is if this was the case, Tony Khan is a smart man. He did some kind of programming, and it's like for all you can say about AEW, Blood and Guts, the women's Blood and Guts was great. Hobbs and Hangman's great, even though I keep saying Hobbs should be a world champion. But I keep saying that, and it just no one no one cares. But yeah, Hobbs great. That was fun. And it was a steel cage, and then the men's. I'm like, that was great. All of it felt great, and it felt. I was like, you had 3 matches, and it was awesome. 3 matches is great, and it felt like it was real. It felt not just real, but just like it was just engagement, and there was some like stuff there you don't like or what have you. But I felt, oh my gosh, I felt something watching this match. I felt something watching the Blood and Guts. Here, it's just there's nothing here. And look, Cena's whole last time is now probably the worst retirement angle I've ever seen in my life. I've seen some good stuff. I've seen bad, but this is the absolute worst retirement run ever. And I'm like, why does Cena need to lose the Intercontinental Championship? It just felt like it was a pointless thing here. And this whole match felt like this was a bells and whistles match. And by the way, Cena, I know he can't go as much as that. I think he did a pretty good job with that Cody Rhodes match. I think he did a good job. Logan Paul, I think he did a really good job. In those certain matches. I think the Chamber was decent, but that was other people there. There was some other stuff there. I think he did a pretty good job. There were some really good matches. Him and AJ had some good matches. Him and him and AJ really good. Him and like I said, Cody in that street fight was good. And I'm like, you don't need this much smoke and mirrors. You got Dom Mysterio. Let me see if I actually have this here. Here we are. We'll work this, that. Let's see. Eddie goes a fro. Oh yeah. It was they jumped him, by the way. But yeah, he was hurt. Dom was hurt or what have you. And they had a whole time. They sat there. It was way too long. Then you had the ladies come in and just let me see where the ladies are. Okay. Um, Raquel Rodriguez, she got much better. I will say. Taking down Cena, then Cena and Roxanne with Pop Rocks as well. And then Dominic came up, and then the referee, just said, "Oh no, this is BS," and then called him out and got all the people away from it. It was it felt like it was like fine, whatever. They did some smoke and mirrors and everything else, and then he did this little "you can't see me." They got a little quickie. He said, "One more time, you can't see me." It was cute. There was some fun stuff here. But then after the circle and the FFA, and then he does this terrible STF, which it's a choice. It's always been a choice. He was bad with that move before, when he was doing that. Like, the STFU or the STF. There were people, it was poorly. And I say this, Cena is not a bad wrestler. He is actually pretty good at what he can do. When he knows his limitations, he can do some really good brawling, and he's really good. I mean, look at the Umaga stuff. Look at the I Quit match with him and Randy Orton. Look at hey, the one recent with him and Cody Rhodes, that street fight. Let's see what else. With him and Cena, I think. Heck, CM Punk, him versus CM Punk, him versus Edge. There's a lot of really good Cena matches that have hardcore, even like regular straight up matches. So, but here, gosh, it just maybe it is just this was a match was a choice, and seeing that terrible STF, and then you had the Judgment Day. See Finn He got his legs up, and then boom, and then he moves, and then does a double AA, and then another AA, and then Liv Morgan came in, slaps him, and then next you know, jumps in Cena's arms, and then next you know, attacks him, and it was like so much bullshit, and it was so much BS. I hate that. I hate it because it should not be this way. It should not be this you know BS. I hate this because it's so much, you know, it just proves the point that Vince Russo won. I mean, if this was WCW 2000, people will be saying if this happened and this happened all like, oh, our TNA with Jeff Jarrett. Everyone said this is bad, but now everyone starts to like this again. See what I'm saying? I keep saying this on all the stuff. Vince Russo won. You know why people said this match was good? This match was terrible. Too much BS, too much interference, too much anything else. And I'm like, personally, I wish they would have had Cena at War Games and not have this rematch and such. I wish the last time is now should have been the Intercontinental Championship and have him and lose the belt and have that more, have that much more of a statement for a young guy like say Kamal Hayes or someone like that instead of the old guys who are in that stuff here. The old people. It's a waste. And I feel like this was way too much. And the Judgment Day, I mean, Dom wins, and I'm like, man, this match was terrible. And I'm tired of all of this stuff. And meanwhile, so many people do that frog splash better. Shout out to Kevin Knight. Shout out to Leon Slater. Shout out to all these other people who could do these those that type of the frog splash so much better. You know, that's what it just feels like. I just don't like this. I don't like these stuff here. I didn't like this match. Ugh. And then we get to this match here. Stephanie Raquel versus Nikki Bella. This was a Raw match. No, I would say this is better. This was a main event match. No. This match, if it was this match was so this, I feel like this would be a velocity match or something. Goodness gracious, Stephanie Raquel is wasting her time with this person. I understand it. Nikki Bella, I know this is gonna piss me off. She's cooked, and she wasn't really that good to begin with. She was good maybe promos, and people remember her, and like, oh, the Total Divas, and people like that, and Bella, the reality shows. And I get there's a whole fan base of hers and everything else with it. And I'm like, hey, fine, okay, let's do. I'm okay. You know what? Fine. But this was, I'm like, this is a problem. You have all your main talent on your main talent is so focused on the tag division stuff. You get your women's champion is Stephanie. What has she done? She beaten Tiffany Stratton, and she's been feuding the Judgment Day off and on, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I mean, at this point, it just feels like her championship run has been marked with failure. And at this point, I think Liv Morgan is probably going to win the title, and I think that's probably for the best. She needs. I mean, it feels like honestly a longer version of my personal opinion about Randy Orton's championship. If like he's there, let me just link those positions up. That her first championship mirrors that of Randy Orton's a bit because Randy Orton was not even close to ready to hold that belt. And she and I think that Stephanie O'Hara has been groomed to be that. She's like, she's really gonna be great. She's great in NXT and everything else. I think she was primed to win the Intercontinental title. I think that is something she should be doing right now, the Intercontinental Championship. She should be winning the Intercontinental Championship and build herself up there. And then I think probably at SummerSlam next year, she and Rhea Ripley should have fought for that world title. But now it's just here. I honestly wouldn't be surprised like this. We got pull the shoe for this title run. I think Liv Morgan is going to face her at the whole thing with Monday Night Raw. They're going to face, and I would not be surprised if Liv Morgan wins that championship and Stephanie Raquel goes into the makeup. Maybe she goes to SmackDown, and she'll probably have face Julia or something to build her up, because Julia has been completely and totally been regards to relevancy. She had one of those longest US championship runs and no one remembers her. And I worry about that, because now what is she gonna do? I wouldn't be surprised she gets released. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And and I look at this and I hate that, because she deserves better. I think Nikki Bella, she's a Hall of Famer, fine, but she doesn't need to come back in the main event match this way. It's a terrible match. Just there hasn't been really good matches here. I mean, the women's fight's fine, but then you get to our main event. CM Punk, World Heavyweight Champion, close to 50, should never win a world title. And I said this given to AEW, should never win the title in AEW, should never win the world title now. And you got Braun Breaker, who should just beat the crap out of him, and he does. And just keeps going in, just press starving him. And they're having a match on January 5th, Raw. Breaker should just beat him in 2 minutes. Spear, boom, 2, 3, done. We move on. That because no, unless I feel like there's going to be some chicanery, there's going to be some, some smoke and mirrors to keep Punk hold the title, which I wouldn't be surprised, because, well, WWE needs to have its old people here. They need the old guys here. They need old people. WWE loves its old guys. They love them. Sweet Lord. Too many old people. Ugh. Drew McIntyre, and then him fighting against Punk, and then Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes with a black eye. Cody Rhodes and the Rhodes. QB1, Cody Rhodes in a dive with his horrible neck tattoo, and he yells. He yells up. And oh boy, this move. I thought he broke his neck. I thought he broke his damn neck with this. That Doomsday. I've seen. Look, I don't know what it is in the WWE ring or NWA ring, but they can't do the Doomsday device right. I mean, first I saw it badly done by Dark State or what have you. Didn't know what they're doing here. Now you got Punk and Cody. I mean, Punk and then LeBron just landing on the top of his head. Jeez, wheeze, that was just one of the worst things. They didn't have that picture up. I know it's the picture there, but Jesus, man, it is messed up. You know what? And somehow he's moving. I don't know his neck. Talk about neck strong. Talk about neck strong, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, Braun is something else. Then you get Logan Paul. Let's see, most humble. Yeah. Logan Paul, both of them doing this. It feels like they're going on stuff. And then Big Jim, going Jimmy Uso, and he does his moves and stuff like that. And the cage, and then you got big old Bronson Reed, Tsunami smashing everybody. Cody's busted open. It's amazing the men can bust open, but the women they'll stop the show for that. But yeah, whatever. And then another Tsunami. Everyone's beaten down, and then the Yeet Man has cometh. Yes, the Yeet Man comes in and he runs down and beats everyone up. But I do like the fact that he takes everyone down. Let's run it back, says the man who says he's not an entrance. Let's run back the entrance. And then me, Oos, day one is there's everyone yeeting. It's the Yeet Mania. Everyone's doing a yeet. Just yeet. And which fine, the people love that. They love it. They get out there. Him, and then he climbs on the top of the cage and does some very weird things to that cable, which definitely is not PG. And then after that, guess who comes back? Oh, big old stone hand, big old fat ham, Brock Lesnar. There it is. Dum ba dum bum ba dum bum. And he goes and he destroys everyone and rips and tears and everything else. and Suplex City F5, Suplex City F5, and everything else. Chair shots, and then the OTC, the man Roman Reigns at the, he comes in. Anyway, it's Roman Reigns. He comes to save the day, and he got the old Superman punch, and another one, but then doesn't work, and then he gets F5'd on those big expensive tables, and it collapses. And then, yeah, Roman did get spiked. Not that way. But anyway, Roman and Brock Lesnar smiling and laughing, having a gun, but then Roman comes back and spears everybody. Breaker comes in, and the match, and this match was there for only 5 minutes. Breaker spears, and then the mystery man of the hour, and people said now they think it's Randy Orton, which is the most dumbest thing out there. Wouldn't make any sense. It's Austin Theory, first off. Secondly, people saying it might be Seth, which would be hilarious because another swerve. Because hey, let's swerve the guys again, guys. That's not going to belittle trust or what have you. Who's hurt or who's not hurt? There you go. He's stomp, and all that stuff. You get a stump. You get a stump as he helps the Vision win. As he Braun Breaker puts on the straps, then he takes them off again because why not? Goes in, spears Punk, and wins. And he is now, Team Vision win. And Roman, and he helps him, and he says shakes hands, and he doesn't, and he looked at Cody, and the crowd just has an audible it's just an audible disappointment when you look at Roman and Cody, because we doing this again? They're running it back. Again, Cody? Oh, goodness gracious. Isn't this fun, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to run back Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns again, because we have no new ideas, no new stars, nothing. We have nothing. No stars, nothing, ladies and gentlemen. They have nothing. They got nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, that's WrestleMania for you, baby, by the way. So rematches, old versus new. Old probably going to win. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Seth Rollins comes in and make it a 3-way. And the ladies who bust their ass, who actually made this show, make the show watchable, are going to not just be basically be in the first. They're going to have their own women main event, a.k.a. the women just sit there and be like, well, it's going to be the opening match and everyone's going to forget about it. By the way, no one's talking about the Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca match, by the way. No one talks about that match anymore. It's just Cody Rhodes versus Cena in that terrible match. That's all I have to say about that whole mess. Because it is. It's a mess, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, I have talked about another mess, ladies and gentlemen. Thriller has been in a very bad position as of late. So we're going to talk about it. We'll be right, and what was good or what's bad about us, and all the other things. Anyway, we'll be right back right after this here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, tell all your friends, tell the people, tell everybody around you, tell them the Dukect Lounge, and that's where you hear old Dukect and everything else. And hopefully soon we'll be doing some live streaming video games. Hopefully we'll get that thing back running. Maybe next year. Hopefully next year we'll get it back, and I can start doing some live streaming games. My hope is I can do some PS2 games and some PS2 and 1 games, which would be fun. And then we can do some old 360 games and all the stuff I have. Anyway, we'll be right back right after this here live on the Dukect Lounge. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you once again. We'll be right back. Oh, let's see if I can just get rid of this. There you go. We'll be right back right after this here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be right back right after this.